Hi, second graders. I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but I'm really excited for you to continue on with your observational drawing. So, like last week, you are going to be becoming a scientific illustrator today. And our goal is to first look and examine this object, whether it's a shell or a bone today, with the eyes of an artist and a scientist. So I want you to look for every single detail you see. For example, in this shell, I notice how there's these lines, that kind of wavy lines that come across this way. I notice that the texture looks rough and bumpy on the edge, so when I draw it, I want to make sure to include all those details. I notice that there's also lines that go from the point on this side up here. I notice that there are all these little spirals and points all the way around. So when I draw, I want to draw so carefully, so slowly that I can include all of those details, and the person looking at my drawing knows all this information about the shell because I include those details. So here I go. Let me give it a try today. I'm going to just show a little bit of the shell because remember, we need to draw really, really slowly. And so I'm going to just start with this little point of the shell as my demonstration. I am much more interested in you drawing slow and including every detail than in completing an entire drawing today. So let's see, I'm going to start at this point. I see there's this tiny little curve. I see there's a line that curves around the bottom. I go back here, I see another curve that comes around. And I think if I was worried about drawing this whole shell, I'd feel really nervous and overwhelmed because it's so detailed. But I'm just going to think about one little step at a time. And I know what to draw because I'm observing. What I'm looking at is then what I draw. So I just drew this point in here and here. Now I see how it curves out a little further. And I think now I'll continue along this edge. It goes out, there's a little bump. So even if it's the tiniest little bump, as scientific illustrators, you want to include that. Those tiny details are what tell the people looking at this drawing the information about the object. So include every little detail, drawing really slow. Look at all these little bumps. I'm right in here right now. There's lots of little bumps, so I'm trying to include those. Now I have to decide, do I want to follow along the top here, like this back side? Do I want to draw this portion? I think I'm going to follow along the top. So I'm going to go back through here. And here, friends, there's lots of little bumps. This is not a smooth shell. It has a lot of texture. Okay, and then I can keep going. So you can see I only drew this little bit, but that took me a while. And you can see that I'm including every little lump and bump. I know I have a lot to do, but as a scientific illustrator, I have to go slow and include those details. All right, friends, today your job is to work on becoming scientific illustrators. Your learning goal is I can observe every tiny detail. I can draw slowly to include my observations. I can become a scientific illustrator. All right, I can't wait to see these drawings. I will see you next week.